Keep watching The Politics every Friday, 12 p.m. Eastern Time on New York Current TV, the voice for humanity.
Yes, good afternoon. I'm sorry for our little technical difficulties. I am your host of the show, Robert Press. Here is my press credentials. I am a reporter for many outlets, including my own blog, www.100%blogspot.com. And yeah, wait, Anthony, there's a little more of my introduction. Some of you may know me from the movie Bring Down the House, where I had a supporting role to Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, our congresswoman in the 14th Congressional District. Now let me introduce my co-host, Mr. Anthony RIVIECCIO. Tell us a little about yourself, Anthony.
Hi, everybody. My name is Professor Anthony RIVIECCIO. I apologize for laughing at Robert's introduction. We also apologize for the technical difficulties this morning. As you can tell, we're starting 15 minutes late because it took Robert an extra 15 minutes to put on his tie. Most people know me as being an income tax and financial advisor for the last 30 years, which is why I'm losing my hair. Don't forget to do an income tax extension if no one has done it already. My second life, which I'm celebrating spring break at the moment, is that I'm an adjunct professor for both a private and public college here in the city of New York. And my third life, which traditionally brings me to this wonderful place that we're at, is I am the wonderful founder of a local organization called Northwest Bronx Democrat.
What's that little thing on your collar there? Is that a stain, Tony?
You mean this?
On the other side.
This?
Yeah, that little thing.
This is what I received at a recent function at Herbert H. Lehman College. These are what they call professor pins.
Okay. Well, let's get into our show since we're running a little late. The Ukraine situation, that seems to be the most popular item worldwide. It seems that the Russian, I almost called it the Soviet Union, which is what they're trying to make it again, but the Russians are stepping up their little policy there. They're sending more missiles and bombs into the capital. Anything new elsewise with the Ukraine situation, Anthony?
I think the new wise to your question will probably be next week. What has happened this week is that everybody has moved east, and it's already presumed that once Putin gets all the troops together in one spot in the east, and I'm sure most people know now that Putin has already put together his old general, in charge. Most people are now expecting a massive invasion into the east on the ground. It's going to be very interesting to see, how that works going forward.
Well, it looks like we're going to have a guest later on. Mr. DION Powell, I see, is with us. We'll get into DION a little later in our second half when we cover petitions. Right now, though, we had a big thing that happened in New York City. There was a man who got on a subway with a duffel bag. All of a sudden, he puts on a gas mask and then starts pulling out a gun and starts shooting people. Now, you've been on the subway and I've been on the subway. What do you do if you see a man with a duffel bag? I thought that the police were checking them as they entered the stations. All right.
I don't know, Robert. I'm trying to figure out why you went out of order and sequence again. How did we get from world politics to the subway?
Well, you're right. Oh, yeah. Pardon me. I forgot. Yes. Let's go into something that I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. We can go into, because we don't want to confuse the audience. I'm sure they're confused enough. Just watching us. You were talking about the subway?
I'm trying to condense it a little because we're trying to make up for time. Well, yeah, let's do it the subway shooter. All right, let's stay with the subway shooter. Don't you remember police at the stations where they would check your bag?
Sure. It was called before the 1970s.
Well, no, even now with the Bloomberg had it, I believe, and de Blasio let it go because he didn't want to station the police there. He wanted them elsewhere to give out tickets or whatever.
Well, I wouldn't put it that way. I would put it the more proper way. It was disbanded because after 20 years of good, hard police work, crime went down significantly to the point where we didn't need those programs anymore.
Correct. But if you're on a subway car and you see a guy with a duffel bag and all of a sudden he puts on a gas mask, what are you going to do? I know I'm going to hit the hills.
Today? You mean today?
Yeah.
Today, I don't ride the subway.
Why?
For the same reason you don't.
Well, I have a car, Anthony. You don't.
True, but that's not why you don't ride the subway.
Why is it?
Because you know what? Let me not put you into this. Let me put me into this. And as I told our audience earlier, I'm a former U.S. serviceman. So I always like to preface it by saying I'm a lover, not a fighter. But don't ever get me into fight mode, because I guarantee you, win, lose, or draw, we'll be spending the night in the precinct.
Well, if four guys,
and depending on how it goes, one or two might be in the cemetery.
Well, the police doing great police work, having the shooter himself call, "Hey, I'm over here at McDonald's. Come get me."
Like we say on our wonderful Facebook page, Northwest Bronx Democrats, it seems the only link to the whole shebang is McDonald's. So if he wouldn't have reported himself, and if he wouldn't have had the same habit that most Bronxites do, which is why we're at not 62, they never might have caught him.
All right, let's go back.
Now, who do you blame for that? I'm curious. Do you blame the de Blasio administration? Do you blame the Adams administration? Should we blame the Mayor Dinkins administration? Who do you blame for that?
For what?
For knowing that we now have a city to the point where anybody can go into the subway system and do something like that.
Well, that is the state legislature who have made...
No. The state legislature does not dictate me walking into a subway.
No, but the laws have been lessened so that they opened the doors from Rikers Island. They want to close it so fast so they can extend the runways from LaGuardia Airport to get the big
jets. That doesn't
in.
answer the question I just asked you. I think I know why you're wearing a tie and you cleaned up your hair. You sounded like a politician. I asked you, whose fault is that? Whose fault do you believe is that someone could just walk into a subway and do what they did? You made the description. So I'm asking you, whose administrative fault is it?
It is the legislature. It is de Blasio too, for his lack of concern, for his not caring about what's going on. All right, many times during his administration, I fought with Mayor de Blasio on homelessness, on NYCHA, on education, on traffic, on many issues. I was questioning Mayor de Blasio. All right, until COVID came, and then all of a sudden he took selected questions from selected reporters he wanted to take. So I couldn't ask him any more questions. You saw right away with Mayor Adams. I hit him with the question of 540 homeless people being dumped into Community Board 11 by de Blasio. And what happened? The third homeless shelter of 140 people was stopped. Okay? This is the problem. The elected officials don't like to be embarrassed or put on the spot by the media. It is the state legislature with this no cash bail law, which even our borough president, Vanessa Gibson, said 90% of the people aren't a problem. It's the 10% of the people that are the problem. All right.
Bob, we also found out last week as well as this week that Ms. Gibson was incorrect with her numbers. That it's not 90-10, it's more like 70-30, the other way around.
Well, I don't know about that. We have to.
You should know about that. You're an investigative reporter. This was done by investigative journalists. You're going to tell me you don't believe their reports? You're going to go by Vanessa Gibson's reports? I saw the report, and I also saw the audience in which she had the report, and the audience didn't seem to believe her either.
Anthony, I trust what Vanessa Gibson said because she was also, don't forget, in the city council public safety.
So then you believe walking down the street every day in your neighborhood that it's only 1 out of 10 repeat offenders that's the problem, not the other 9.
You know what, Anthony? We really don't know. We can't.
No, Bob. I'm asking you. You just said, right? You walk in your neighborhood, or maybe you just drive the car and you don't walk in your neighborhood. When you walk in your neighborhood, how do you feel? Do you feel that she's right? That out of every 10 repeat offenders, only 1 is the problem, and the other 9 are not?
And Anthony, you should have said out of every 100 people who
No, Bob. Let's make it simple. You're walking down your own street, not my street. You're walking down your own street. Do you believe that Ms. Gibson just said to you that out of every 10 offenders, repeat offenders, only 1 is the problem? The other 9 are not.
Right. Okay. Yes, you're right.
Walk down your street. Do you believe that?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I believe it if I walk down your street, if I walk down any street in the Bronx, I believe it.
Okay.
All right, because I'll be on 149th Street in May, I believe. They're having the Pride Parade. Okay.
So then you don't believe that bail reform should be changed because, as Gibson says, the number is minuscule.
No, I believe it is because 10% is too much. It should be 0% repeat offenders. All right, you have people going in and they're 50, 60 time repeat offenders. There has to be a law. You know, remember 3 strikes and you're out? Okay. First time, okay, it's a mistake. Second time, well, maybe something's wrong. But if it's a third time, that's it. There shouldn't be any more than 3 times, Anthony.
Okay. So then you're saying that out of those 9 repeat offenders, based on your own 3 strikes law, that 90 will turn out to be 30.
No, that 90 will turn out to be 1. Because the other 99 will be, or the other 8 will be in jail. Okay. Let's go back to like you said, after Ukraine, we normally talk about something that affects our economy. And that is Anthony's specialty, which he's getting his mouth cleared for. Is that McDonald's coffee you're drinking?
No. It's called bodega coffee.
Oh, so you went outside to the bodega to get coffee then?
You know, Bob, I did something very risky. I walked down Bedford Park Boulevard, and between those 10 repeat offenders, I must not have seen the one bad one. I was able to go to get my coffee and come back.
Well, you also tell me that you go for long walks during the day. Do you see the repeat offenders during the walks?
Oh, I see everybody during the walks. I see repeat offenders. I see people repeating in the woods when they shouldn't be. I see all kind of muckety mucks. I used to have Marshall Parkway conversations with Richie Torres. When he was a councilman, he used to walk Pelham and Marshall Parkway frequently, and ironically, we would run into each other.
I saw him yesterday at the Waring Park ribbon cutting, him and the borough president. And there is a picture I sent to our producer early this morning. If he can get it on later on, I'll talk about it. He seems to be terrific. I mean, he's doing a great job in Congress, Congressman Torres. But let's go back to our original agenda. With the war, it affects something else. Oil prices are up. They went down for a while. Now they're back up.
No, they're not.
What? They're $110 a barrel as of yesterday.
I would suggest you check I'm only quoting what you just said, right? You said they went up, down, and now they're up again. In the last 2 weeks, they've gone down 22 cents.
Right. That's gasoline at the pump. I'm talking about the barrels.
Oh, I apologize.
Okay.
You said gasoline went down. I don't think people care about the barrels. I think people care about the pump.
Well, no, because that 22 cents it went down, it's going to go up 10 to 20 cents in the next week or two.
I would bet you're different.
Let's go into what Anthony's specialty is, Bidenomics, and how it's affected the U.S. economy this week.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our political show. Feel free to join me every Friday, 5 p.m., hopefully on time, for a dose of economic reality. In regards to Bidenomics, you know, what do we say? What do we say about Bidenomics? I think Joe Biden summed it all up yesterday when he wasn't talking about Bidenomics, when he was giving a wonderful speech to the residents of North Carolina University. And after a wonderful 45-minute speech talking about morals and values, he turned around to shake the president's hand, except the president wasn't there. So they have a wonderful picture of President Biden out here like this, shaking nobody's hand. Well, that's what's happening, ladies and gentlemen, with Bidenomics. I don't know what to tell you except what the government tells me are the stats. Inflation this week has gone up almost 10%. The stock market this week has done very, very bad. The imports are now at a new record. Jobless claims are starting to go up. We will go more into the day-to-day detail on our show, but I think it's safe to say that both the general stock market as well as the Bob Press Weekly Index has had a very, very rough week. What is going to save this week? Actually, today. Today is Holy Friday and the markets are closed.
Well, it's a good thing that I'm very rich, Anthony, like you, because I got my first quarter report, and well, it was much more of down.
Bob, thank you for reminding me. And ladies and gentlemen, on one of our segments today at Financial Focus University at 5 p.m., like Bob says, that one of our segments is called "What Do I Do When I Have a Heart Attack When I Open Up My 401k Statement?" Because as Bob has indicated, he just opened up his quarterly report. So America, well, if you opened up your quarterly 401k or your investment report, I'm sure you had a heart attack. So join us at 5 p.m. to learn how to asset allocate your money, not based on risk, but based on age, because Robert will tell you he had his heart attack when he opened up his stick. Yes, you did, because you called me giving me a heart attack. I won't tell the people how much you lost, but to at least tell them you opened it up and had a heart attack.
Well, Anthony, it's a well-diversified portfolio, and there were a few items that went up, believe it or not.
Oh, I know a few items that went up, but I'm sure most of your diversified portfolio, like the rest of America's, went down. We could tell by the Bob Press Index.
Well, yeah, but you see, the 4 years of the previous president made it go up enough where I can say, okay, this went down this much. I've made so much before.
Well, this is why we're going to have a special segment tonight about re-asset allocation.
All right.
Of course, people that are much younger than you and me, right? They don't know about inflation. It's like, what's inflation? Oh, a stock market's going down. I open up my quarterly statement. What is this? They've never seen these things before. So feel free to watch the show, Bob. You might learn a little, or maybe not learn, but you might get refreshed on one or two little tricks I'm going to teach our audience tonight. But for the younger generation, feel free to learn something new. It's called investment risk and how to learn how to safeguard yourself.
Anthony, one question. Has the time to buy a home passed? Our interest rate's going to keep going up. And what type of mortgage should people have gotten?
Say that second
What
part
type
again?
of mortgage should people have gotten? Because there are various different types of mortgages.
Right, but when you say have gotten, what time frame are you talking about?
Well, we saw interest rates were down to under 1%, correct?
Right.
That was the time to buy a house. No?
That's a very hard question, because you know you really when you answer a question like that, you really have to go not just on interest rate, but you also have to go on a person's financial condition. You know, can they even afford to buy based on
whatever that they could? We're going on the basis that they could. That it's a couple who are, you know, financially stable, looking to buy a house. Was then the time?
Well, the general answer is, if I had a client that only gave me 30 seconds of information like you are, I would say, go get a mortgage now and get it at a fixed rate for as long as you can.
Because interest rates should be continuing to go up, and it'll cost you more and more for that mortgage, correct?
Well, as the Federal Reserve Board has been pronouncing for the last several weeks, I believe you can expect a summer of higher interest rates. We can debate as to how high they might go, but I think it's pretty safe and sound to say that they're thinking of starting in June, July, and maybe go June, July, and August. And then, of course, after the summer, based on economic conditions at that time.
Well, we're going to go into state politics, but Mr. Producer, we're almost at the halfway part. So why don't we just run our commercial now, Mr. Producer, at the halfway part, and we'll continue talking about economics until our producer runs our commercial. So,
good morning, Mr. Producer. Since we're talking economics, why don't we give him
Hey, sports fans! New York Parrot has come out with a great new show for you guys, Sports with Rich. Broadcast time 10 p.m. Tuesday evening. Rich Mancuso with Robert Rizzo as a co-host. Sports with Rich is captivating, informative, and entertaining, and it will pertain to all American sports such as soccer, football, basketball, baseball, athletics, wrestling, you name it. Get rich information from Rich Mancuso on Sports with Rich. Parrot TV, the voice for humanity. Are you curious about financial literacy? Then take a look at Professor Anthony RIVIECCIO's new program on Parrot TV. It's called Financial Focus University. This is an excellent program to learn about questions related to your own finances post-COVID, if how you can manage your money, how you can work with your tax situation. And this is an excellent and informative discussion of financial literacy. With Professor Anthony RIVIECCIO, your financial problems will be solved at Parrot TV with Financial Focus University.
welcome back to Talking Politics on Parrot TV. Anthony, there was something that happened this past week that we don't normally see. We have seen governors resign. We saw Governor Spitzer resign and Governor Cuomo resign, but we saw a lieutenant governor who was just in office a few months resign. Any comments on Brian Benjamin's resignation, Anthony?
It's about time. This was, again, these things were not a secret. Everybody knew about them. Why he wasn't brought up when he was a state senator, as I always say, only in New York. But these were not secret crimes. Nothing was done in the middle of the night except for the people that were crowdfunding the money, maybe. But outside of that, nothing was done under any doors or tables. When Ms. Popple had to make this decision, Brian Benjamin, in my humble opinion, I don't think was actually initially on that list. There were other people on that list, and I said at that time it should have been Jamal Bailey, and I'm sure he had reason not to do it. But Brian Benjamin was picked, so now Kathy has to live with those consequences. The Democratic Party has to live with those consequences. And as I said to a media person today, you know what, Robert? I made up my mind. We're going to request to keep him on the ballot.
Well, there's a assemblywoman that's from, I believe, upstate that's trying to change the election law, and correct, she has only a few days to do it to try and get Brian Benjamin off the ballot. The only way he could do it right now would to be move out of the state, which he can't because he's under indictment, or if he was to be put in for a judgeship, then he could, then say, well, I'm not going to be the lieutenant governor. I'm going to take a judge. But what Democratic Party is going to put Brian Benjamin in as a judge when he's under indictment?
No, what they're going to probably try to do, because that plan is too little too late. So they're going to try. It won't work. What they'll eventually do is change it for the future and then move the calendar date of elections probably to a summer or fall related time.
Well, they can't.
I say keep them on.
They can't move the date because of the absentee balloting of the military.
Well, that's not true. As they said last night, the state legislature.
Oh, the state, yeah, because they have the congressional races where they have to have it on, a certain date.
The state legislature
Okay.
can dictate when they want
You
their
say
election.
so. Now, there's been talk that Kathy Hochul should take one of the other running mates. For instance, Tom Swazi's running mate, but her word is, I'm not taking Tom Swazi's running mate because she's loyal to Tom Swazi. So how can I have her?
I think right now Tom Swazi has some other issues.
Yes, I know that too. So
I think Tom Swazi now has to be dealt with ethical related issues, right? So which one is worse, right? Which one is worse? I say, let's put on our guest, Dion Powell, for state president, whatever the hell that title's called.
Lieutenant I want to wait with
Dion Powell for lieutenant governor.
Well, he was on the ballot for city council, if you remember. Okay.
No, I don't remember, to be honest.
He was in the first hole. He was in the number one hole on the city council, on the city controller race. Okay.
How do you do?
He didn't get, well, all of a sudden he was thrown off. Let's bring on Mr. Powell. All right. Dion, what happened with that controller race?
Why don't you say hi to him first? Wish him a good day first. Good day, Dion. Nice to see you.
Let's flip the pleasantries, gentlemen. Thank you for having me here. Press, what a mess.
Where are you?
The ratings have to keep going up and up. Now I'm back on the program here.
Where are you?
We got the nutty professor here from the financial.
Where are you?
Well, he's in his address. He's home on Fulton Street.
Oh, you're home. Okay.
No, I'm not home, gentlemen. I'm here. The Good Friday here in an undisclosed location. Look at this undisclosed location, Jack.
Conservative Party on Morris Park Avenue.
Yeah, Morris Park. Scenic view. You see scenic view of Morris Park over there?
Okay. Well, while we have our guest on, okay, let's go right into petitions. Okay. Now,
you
before I talk,
Dion, about comptroller, I want to answer that question about comptroller, okay? Because I'm kicking myself in my rear black ass. You see, I had to go mute for me to answer the question. Because I was also approached to run for lieutenant governor this cycle on another stealth campaign, but I said no. But I ran a stealth campaign last year for comptroller, and they knocked me off internally, prima facie. So only a certain few people in the political realm knew I ran for comptroller. But one of my big life regrets is not running for lieutenant governor on a stealth-campaign this year.
And, with the proportional balloting, you could have won because you were in the number one spot.
That is correct. So as you can see, I know this game very well, and that's what makes me so dangerous for these little stunts that people like you inspire me to pull. Because one day I will break through that glass ceiling and crack that chink in that party's armor.
I agree with you. Hopefully you will be elected. I'm surprised you're not running in the 79th Assembly District again.
I did. I ran for county committee and I won. And so I'm that county committeeman of now I think the 52nd ED. They changed it.
So you collected signatures for county committee also in the 79th then?
No, I just collected signatures in the 79th for county committee and that was it.
Right. We'll
get exactly, Press. I guess you're penciling.
I want to bring Anthony.
What's your Mets jersey or your Dodgers?
Anthony, here's something from the Board of Elections, a printout with, I don't know if you can see it or not.
No, we can't see it.
It's the, let's see, which one is this? This is the
objection sheet.
No, this is the 80th Assembly District. Okay, you
what
can
is
see.
That? First of all, what is that? Is that the ledger or is that the?
Yes, no, this is
ledger.
This is the ledger.
Objections are regular.
No, this is the regular candidate ledger. You see Kenny Augusto running for state committee there in the 80th Assembly District.
Okay.
Now, here's one, and I underlined his name. Here's Kenny Augusto again, but here he's running in the 78th Assembly District for judicial delegate.
Nothing legal about that, is there, during redistricting.
Okay. Is Kenny Augusto in the 78th Assembly District or is he in the 80th Assembly District? I mean, for the past 10 years,
he wants.
For the past 10 years, he's been in the 78th Assembly District. All of a sudden, now he's in the 80th, and that he wasn't redistricted into the 80th. Okay, those lines were not put in. The old line stayed because the chief of staff for Assemblyman Jose Rivera lives right near him, and she's running in the 78th as he is. So I don't understand how somebody can run in 2 different districts. As we get to Mr. Powell, though, Mr. Producer, can you put up that sheet of that petition sheet, Mr. Producer? I'll have a question for Mr. Powell on that.
Let's see if he can figure out how to share the screen, because you're supposed to do that. He can't do that.
No, the producer doesn't.
Oh, you guys
well,
probably got
what I'm talking about is a petition sheet that I copied from the Board of Elections.
Did you pay for that? Looks like I'm a journalist now. My degree is from the City College of New York, the first film department in America, and the School of Journalism came out of our department. So, press, answer the question: did you pay for that copy of from the Board of Elections? Because if you didn't, then I have my recourse.
Here is the copy of the petition page.
Did you pay for that, sir?
Whoops.
Did you pay for that?
It's on my phone.
Did you pay for it?
Did I pay for it? No.
Thank you for going on public record saying that you're taking official public documents without paying your 25 cents per page.
As a member of the media, I'm allowed.
Where's your shield? Whip out your shield. Whip out your shield. What's your Sloman shield?
Okay? As a member of the media, I'm allowed. Now, that is a perfectly valid page, though, Dion. I am saying
nothing. You see my name on petitions, you better do your work to knock it off.
That is a perfect valid petition. You were in the 82nd Assembly District with a certain judicial delegate who said that you were with her collecting signatures. And you got several pages on March 19th for the petition of Al Quattlebaum, which is perfectly legal. I'm not questioning that. But on March 19th, when you collected those signatures for Al Quattlebaum, I saw on Mr. George Diaz's petition, I mean, it's right there on page 1 of his petitions that Mr. Dion Powell collected signatures, and the date is 3/19, March 19th. Okay, so you were in the 81st, you were in the 82nd Assembly District. You
the Bronx is a small place.
What?
The Bronx is a small place with many people.
Okay, but when I looked at the petition of Irene Estrada, I see many pages of Dion Powell with the date March 19th on there. So now you're in the 80th Assembly District, you're in the 81st Assembly District, you're in the 82nd Assembly District. Now on the 82nd Assembly District, the date and the signatures all is in the same ink. On the 80th Assembly District, though, I see blue color ink for the person's signature and the address, but black color ink for the date. It's as if the petition was handed in and the dates were put on later, which is done by most candidates. So did you really collect those petitions in the 80th on the 19th, or was it on a different date? Because, Mr. Powell, on another witness, there is a problem where there is 3/19, 3/19, 3/19, 3/16, 3/19, 3/16, and other people who carried the petition have 3/16 as their date. So in the 80th Assembly District, did you collect them? Well, you don't have to answer me. I'm sure the district attorney will call you in.
Good. Right? My question to you is this. Where are the copies of the petitions that you publicly just said you did not pay for to corroborate your statement?
They are at the Board of Elections.
Yeah, but wait. Where is your copy of the petition to corroborate that? The objection.
They are at. I will get them tomorrow.
Get them tomorrow. Then
okay?
Next week.
And I'm sure after this show, when I make a call to a friend at the district attorney's office, she'll probably go down with me.
You're going to go downtown with you, okay? Because once again, like I told you in a text message, subpoena me.
I won't be subpoenaing you. It will be the district attorney's office that will be doing that.
Okay.
Okay, but I'm just saying, this is
another question I have for you, Press, because you've mentioned several other candidates there. In the witness statement, did you compare my signature? Because if those are my signature, then I've been fraudulent. So I want to see the copies.
Wait a minute. Are you saying that someone fraudulently put your signature down?
No, I'm asking you. Where are the copies?
So you signed those petitions then?
No, where are the copies? You only showed
Did
me
you
one
or did
page.
you not collect signatures in the 80th Assembly District on March 19th?
Where is it, Press?
I'm asking you a question, Dion. Did you?
No, I'm
or
asking
did
you a
not?
question. Where are the copies that you publicly stated you did not pay for?
They're at the Board of Elections.
All right, so next show, come back with the copies. I want to see you pay for the copies. Because so
Dion.
far you only showed me one page with my signature on it.
Dion,
I'm gonna use my
sure.
journalism skills against your journalism skills.
Okay.
Right now, this is slander and libel. This is slander and libel.
These pages, Dion. Petition request.
Okay.
All right, that's one. That's another.
Okay.
And you'll see different petition numbers on there. That's another.
Okay.
That's another. Okay. Plus, here are the sheets that I have from the Board of Elections with everybody, all the candidates, which I'm going to go over because Congressman Adriano Espaillat and Congressman Richie Torres both have the same person running against them, Paperboy Love. Although Congressman Espaillat has Francisco Spies running him. In the 14th Congressional District, Alexandra Ocasio-Cortez, the Congresswoman, has no opponent in the primary. Okay. Here's more. When we go down to the 77th Assembly, in the state, in the 31st Senate District, Jose Serrano has no primary. Luis Sepulveda in the 34th Senate District, and I might note that he is the second senator from the 32nd State Senate District, but 2 districts were brought down to the New York City area, so they're up by 2 districts. He'll be the senator of the 34th, should he be reelected, is running against Pamela Stewart Martinez, which I know you didn't collect any signatures for Pamela Stewart Martinez.
How do you know that?
How?
How?
Trust me. Trust me.
So I don't trust you anything because you only show one page that you did not pay for.
When we go to the 33rd,
and on top of that, Press, the sign on the door, the Board of Elections says no flash photography. So once again, you're in violation twice. You didn't pay, and you took a picture on a public property that you're not supposed to take pictures of. I
have papers from the Board of Elections.
No, Press.
Dion,
you said it before. What's the
Dion,
third one?
Do you remember the picture of Mike Rendino and John Cummings in 2020 inside a polling site?
I don't recall that, no.
All right. I took that picture and put it up of the 2 of them inside a polling site. Was I in violation?
Yes.
No.
That's them. I'm talking about me. Number 1, you didn't pay for your copy. Number 2,
I didn't pay for that picture.
Number 2, you took a picture on the Board of Elections property of a government document.
Dion, I didn't pay for these papers either, Dion. I didn't pay for this either.
That's not the point. The point is, number 1, you didn't pay for the copy.
These are copies from the Board of Elections.
You're taking pictures at the Board of Elections.
Dion, these are copies from the Board of Elections on the same day, and I didn't pay for them. All right, let me continue. Now, what's now the 35th State Senate District, Gustavo Rivera has no opponent. I can run through the assemblies and everything, but I'm not going to. All right, I'll just go through the 3 districts where I know you collect the signatures. In the 80th Assembly District, the incumbent Natalia Fernandez has a challenger in Irene Estrada. In the 81st Assembly District, the incumbent Jeffrey Dinowitz has 2 challengers in George Diaz, who ran against him in 2020, and Jessica Wolford, who is backed by the DSA, which is Democratic Socialist of America.
Can I ask you a question?
Wait a minute, let me just finish. In the 82nd Assembly District, the incumbent Michael Benedetto has 2 challengers. He has Jonathan Soto, who is backed by the Democratic Socialists of America, and Mr. Al Quattlebaum from Co-op City. All right. It seems that the Democratic Society, DSA, who went after Joe Crowley in 2018 and got rid of him, are now going after state assembly members in Michael Benedetto and Jeffrey Dinowitz. So that's where the control is, in the Assembly, in the State Senate, and in Congress. They also have some city council members. These are the people who make the budgets. Borough presidents are really a bully pulpit. All right. They can do good work, but they have no legislative power. Any comments, Dion?
Well, thank you for the civics lesson for the public. My question to you is this. You mentioned 3 candidates, right? So those 3 candidates, have you reviewed the list, the ledger of objections?
No, I haven't, Dion. I'm
Okay,
going
so
down.
now for you to do your investigative journalism, right? I suggest you, because you already showed that, go to the ledger of objections. You go to the ledger of objections. You mentioned 3 candidates. Go there, and I want you to tell me what candidate objected to whose candidate and why. So
Dion,
that's the question you have to answer.
Dion, don't we know that there's another part to this petitioning? The court challenges. You don't have to file an objection. You just go right to court.
Right, I know that, but you are skipping steps here for the public. Back to the Board of Elections. Everybody doesn't care about what you just showed us. We care about the.
I didn't mention anything about challenges.
No, but you're going to mention that later. So why don't you give the audience a heads up? Why don't you go over the list of Bronx candidates that have been objected to?
Dion, this is investigating reporting on how someone like Kenny Augusto can run in 2 different districts. And how someone like yourself is able to collect signatures in 3 different assembly districts on the same day.
Let me ask you a question. Are you still running for district leader?
I pulled back on that.
So you backpedaled.
I never. Well, my aim was to get rid of Marco Sierra. Marco Sierra didn't run, so there was no reason for me to run. I like Marco Sierra. He's a good person.
Wait, say that again. You like Marco Sierra? He's a good person. Now, what happened?
But I felt that he wasn't doing the job as district leader, and I could do a much better job. All right. Right now, you have Remy Salas against what's his name? Sammy Ravello. Okay. That is in case the Irene Strada petition is not challenged. She came in with 654 signatures. And by my expert opinion, as a former challenger, I believe she could be knocked off the ballot easily. I looked at that petition, and I could say I could get it down to 300 signatures.
Where's the clerk's report?
We didn't go to that yet. They're having virtual meetings. I'm just giving my opinion, as I have with other candidates. When they've shown me their petition, I said, well, this is a perfect valid petition. One candidate said I came in with 1,500 signatures. I said, well, they'll probably try and go after you and get you down to about 725. What happened? Somebody went after him and got him down to 715.
I got a question, though. You've seen all the petitions I witnessed, allegedly. Have you gone to the computer and checked the validity of the signatures?
I haven't. That is not my job to knock off.
No, you're not knocking anybody off. Because you're challenging my credibility as a witness now.
No, I'm just asking.
If my petitions are fraudulent, why don't you go to the petition line by line, look at the person, and see if Dion can actually make signatures?
There are still some other assembly districts that I'm going to look at candidates. I'm going to look at George Alvarez in the 78th Assembly District to see if you got him signatures on March 19th. There's the guy in the 85th Assembly District running against the incumbent to see if you got signatures on March 19th. There's the 84th Assembly District. All right. These are all candidates that you could have gotten signatures for. I'm not saying that you did. I don't know. I just know that you didn't get in the 87.
Let me ask you a question, because even though people don't like this term, and I've said it around the whole universe, I hate field operations, but I'm good at it. Okay? If you see any paper with me witnessing it, it's consistent. And I'm very good at it, but I hate it for this reason. I mean, once again, back to the one where it's subpoena me, and I can go before the judge and the board and say, hey, I'm good at what
Anthony,
I do.
are you still with us?
He's still passing. Let him pass. Let him pass. Come back on the show.
Are you still with us, Anthony? I guess he left because he wanted to see us. But Dion, when there's signatures and addresses in one color ink, and then the dates are in a different color ink, that means that they were filed later. How later were they filed?
Oh, thank God. Somebody that might make some sense.
On that, Anthony?
Did you hear what the man said? Shake your head so it can twist off. Did you hear what the man said?
Well, Dion, on the page, and if we could put it up, Mr. Producer, on the page that I showed you.
I'll say it now, and I've been saying it for the last 3 days, that I am very uncomfortable. And I guess I indirectly have to thank the producer for putting me to the side. I said 3 days ago, if any allegations are going to be made on this show, I hope the allegations have credibility behind it.
Exactly.
There's no allegations, Tony.
So even if there's any paperwork, regardless of the color, red, green, blue, orange, whatever, at least the audience. I'm not questioning anybody. I'm thinking of the audience. The audience can see it and judge for themselves. Whether Dion was in 3 districts in one day, well, Dion, there's only 2 things that I need to say in regards to that, and I've already said them to Mr. Press. Number 1, congratulations. You probably followed my route of 30 years ago. And as I also said to Mr. Press, number 2, there are 24 hours in a day. And a good petitioner knows how to use those 24 hours. But again, I do think it is a legitimate question Mr. Press is asking you. What I don't think is considerable is the fact that allegations can be made, but there's nothing to see. So that's where.
But I got a question for you.
I guess I'm indirectly happy.
Seriously, Anthony, I got a question for you.
Put me to the side.
But journalistically, because you're a numbers guy in the economics department, finance department, are my questions to him about the journalistic aspect of this, are they legitimate? For example, number 1, did you pay for that copy? Is that a legitimate question?
If those are the rules, I don't know if those are the rules, but if those are the rules,
number two, just like at
these copies were not paid for.
Just at the concourse, Anthony, you've been around the block.
There are people who don't have
to take pictures. Once again, Anthony, does the Board of Elections allow you to take pictures on their property in the petitioning room on 42 Broadway?
That's a little bit of a harder question. Answer. Generally, the answer is no, generally speaking. However, as you know, Mr. Press and his press credentials have made it around the Board of Elections 89 different times in the last 4 or 5 years. So I would think that if Mr. Press went with his press credentials to the right person at the right time, he might have been able to.
Okay, now Anthony, you've been in the concourse with me many times in the dungeon. Didn't Mr. Press, I'm not sure if you were there, he has to provide a letter from the commissioners stating that he can do such. Isn't that correct?
That is true. Thank you.
Now I want to see a copy of the letter from the commissioners, Robert Press, saying at the date and time that you reviewed those positions, it was okay for you to take pictures.
Here is what I was wearing.
I want to see that. Put that thing away. Put that thing away.
And I was questioned.
You'll poke your eye out.
Okay. And I was allowed. Yes, Mr. Press is allowed to take the picture. Okay. That's what was said by the Board of Elections.
What Dion asked you for was that for this election cycle, do you have a Board of Elections press letter?
From the commissioners.
That happens only when the election occurs, Anthony. It does not happen for petitions.
Well, they have to do this. They have to do it. Man. That's the answer I know. But it's bullshit. It's bullshit.
All right, you're not allowed to say that on air. You'll get us thrown off the air. Is that your intention?
Yes, exactly. I can probably say that. I want you to get us off the air.
Dion.
What's you?
Dion, I do not need it. I am a media person, a valued media person. Okay?
Well, I want to say I don't know what the rules are this election cycle, but past election cycles, you would need, yes, a credentialed media man. But you would also need a Board of Elections letter.
That is at the election. Okay.
So therefore, you didn't have one when you.
There is no letter to go for the petitions. Anybody can go.
Not take pictures, my friend. You can't be in full capacity of the media without the letter.
No, there is no letter to Mr. Powell.
You see that?
There is no letter. That letter occurs at the primary, special election, and general election. Okay? And that allows only the person with the letter to take the picture. In essence.
So then it's reasonable to presume then, Robert, that if media is only allowed to take pictures at the elections, then it's reasonable to presume that media cannot take pictures
No,
before the
Anthony.
election.
Anthony, if you remember the count, of the ballots, remember the counting during the proportional balloting? There were
during
pictures
election time, yes.
No, afterwards, after the election, a week.
Were they counting ballots? Were they counting ballots?
Yes.
If they were counting ballots, it was part of the election.
No,
cycle.
it wasn't, because the letter says what dates it is valid to, and that was after the date. So people at the Board of Elections were taking pictures, media people.
Yes.
Okay, New York 1 had their cameras going, and they were behind the counters. All right, if you remember, they were behind the people counting the votes. Okay, this is New York 1. I was told to stay in front. Okay, that letter was not valid for the count.
Journalistic integrity comes into question. Because Anthony, I
No, it doesn't.
I asked him, do
Dion,
you have the ledger?
You're trying to get out of something that I caught you in. You're trying to get out of something that you were caught in.
How?
Correct?
Anthony, the first thing I sent him a text was subpoena.
I'll tell you what,
It's my
Dion.
subpoena.
I'll tell you what, Dion.
Wait a second. Wait a second.
Hold it, Anthony.
Wait a minute. I know I was backstage and I couldn't respond, but I did listen very intensely. I don't know what you think you caught him on. He has not denied that he has been in 3 districts within he hasn't denied it.
He hasn't.
So what have
you know that there is a publishing company that wants to make life easier for you as a writer? This publishing company is called World Inkers Printing and Publishing. We publish in all different languages, and we're looking for writers of all genres, all formats. We're looking for scholars, ghostwriters, playwrights, poets, short fiction, novelists, you name it. We're looking for anybody who is interested in writing and the craft of writing to be in touch with us. You can reach us at info.worldinkers@gmail.com. With World Inkers Printing and Publishing, you do not require a lot of money to publish with us. Contact us today at info.worldinkers@gmail.com. Become a winner with other authors at World Inkers Printing and Publishing. Give us a shot. We will surely finish you.
Okay, we're back.
So let's get to the real question in our last segment. Dion, you work 3 areas, 3 districts, 24 hours. You work real hard. Congratulations. How much money did you spend? Where did you get the money?
I can't confirm or deny.
You didn't deny it a few minutes ago.
Huh?
You didn't deny it a few minutes ago.
I didn't deny nor confirmed. I'm just asking him for my subpoena. Then I can tell you all I need to tell you.
Dion, no problem. I'll just let the district attorney have all the stuff that I have, and she'll take care of it from there.
Great.
Okay?
I'll bring you back a free prom dress. How's that sound?
All right. I'm not saying
Dion,
that.
I want you to do me a favor. Dion, please do me a favor. Give him the priority mail postage so we can get it to the district attorney's office real quick.
Oh, my God. Certified? Oh, God. Stamp.
Yeah, that'd be good. So that way we can get out the public response as soon as possible.
And Anthony, don't forget the Bronx Democratic County Organization office is 2 blocks from my house. And
so what does that mean? You have a quicker place to go to the bathroom? What
I
does that
just
mean?
happen to have to pass it today on my way to the post office.
Oh, they're finally open? Okay, very good.
They've been open for a week.
No, yeah, a week. Yeah, man. Isn't that right after petitioning when the hard work is done?
Oh, no. Well, they were checking petitions.
They were checking petitions? You mean they didn't do the petitions?
They would do checking their own petitions before they
Why would you know, Robert? Do you work for the Bronx Democratic Party?
Assemblyman Jeffrey Dinowitz came out of the office as I was passing one day.
Where is his office located?
Where is it? 2 blocks from where I live, 1 block from Assemblywoman Natalia Fernandez's office, and a few blocks away from the Republican Party office, and not too far from the Conservative Party office on Morris Park Avenue. So all 3 are within maybe a 10-block radius.
You know what that means, Dion? Since Natalia now has been pronounced as COVID, that means you put your mask on when you're in the area.
Did you guys talk about that old people from caucus weekend that brought COVID back to their respective counties?
No, Bob would rather talk about you and your petitions for a half hour.
I mean, I'm just doing investigative reporting.
How
And
about
as you're
investigating
right,
what happened up in Albany, where people paid $1,000 to get COVID for everybody to
He's
kiss
right.
everybody's ass, and now the word is getting around that it's a super spreader. You don't want to talk about that? That's not news.
Oh, I do.
What about all the suspected elected officials that claim to be vaccinated but are not? How about that?
Exactly.
Who do you know
Exactly.
that?
Oh, you ever heard the Robert Preston immune theory yet? You ever heard that, Dion? Here we go.
Anthony, let me say it now, Anthony. Let me say it to Assemblywoman Natalia Fernandez. Just give me a call. I'll come over, and I want to prove my immunity. She has COVID. I want to go over there.
Was that a pass or a threat? What was that? Was that a pass or a threat?
No,
Did
it's
you
an
just
ask.
ask her
I
out?
want to test my immunity.
That sounded like an ask out line.
I'll do it to Mayor Adams.
That sounded like will you go out with me line. That's what that sounded like.
Anthony, Mayor Adams, let me into City Hall. Breathe on me. I want to test my immunity.
Make out with him. You can only catch it if you make out with him, okay?
Because Dr. Chachi, Anthony, finally admitted that people who had COVID 2 years ago are immune, like I am, that have antibodies.
And ladies and gentlemen, I'm selling the Neon Dion Bridge in San Francisco. Just give me a call.
Dion, did you ever have COVID?
347-575-5045. I'll put it on your income taxes.
Dion, did you ever have COVID, or do I have to subpoena you?
I've had COVID.
Okay, so you're immune then. Twice? 5 times? Or are you trying to be John Cena there with the you can't see me?
Well, I will say this, that if you want to talk about COVID, let's talk about teachers for choice. And if teachers and other workers in court right now that potentially be fired because they're not vaccinated, why isn't the media talking about that? Why don't you talk about how, performers and sports figures don't have to be vaccinated? But we still have people in court that still might lose their job for not being vaccinated. Where's your elected officials on that issue?
Because this is politics, and that's not politics.
Wow, you heard that? That's not politics.
We have an agenda.
They ran up on the mayor, and they say, "Mayor, what are you doing about this?" And Mayor Adams got mad.
Well, the mayor said that he's going to let the net player play, and he did, didn't he?
No, but what about the people that he pays or the city pays that are civil servants? What about them?
I haven't been able to ask the mayor on that.
No, really, but it's not a priority on your list, like petitioning period.
No, I haven't been able to see the mayor in a couple of weeks, and now he has COVID, so I can't.
When's the last time you've been tested?
What's that?
When's the last time you've been tested?
I don't.
Just like sexual infections or sexual diseases, they call it infections now. When have you been tested? Know your status.
I have no symptoms.
That means nothing to me.
Well, I told you I am immune to it. Dr. Chachi told me, and Dr. Katz. Dr. Katz even told me you don't need to get the shots. And when I got the shots, I got sick and thought I had COVID.
So wait a minute. If you're not going to listen to these people, why should we believe them?
I'm listening to Dr. Chachi and Dr.
The man told you not to do something, you did it.
Because I was forced to for my job.
You heard that, Anthony? They held him down and they stuck that nice long needle. It was a nice needle, right? It was a nice needle in the ass. Nice needle.
Well, Anthony, why haven't you got vaccinated, Anthony?
Yeah, Anthony.
No, for the same reason, Bob, that you haven't taken your booster shot. For the same reason that as soon as you caught a cold, right after you got vaccinated, you thought you caught COVID and you were ready
to catch a cold.
And you wrote a whole article about it. For the same reason, Bob, the science is nonsense.
It seems that, Anthony, people in my situation who had COVID before have given blood to use for people who are sick. All right, like our state.
Bob, how would you know what they're doing? You just told Dion you haven't seen them in a couple of weeks. How would you know what they're doing?
I speak to them. I see them. Okay,
you just said you haven't seen them in a couple of weeks.
Anthony, forget it.
You just said that. You just said I haven't seen them in a couple of weeks.
Holes. We just
That's the mayor, you idiot.
You just said you haven't seen them in a couple of weeks.
How many articles am I holding up?
Mr. Producer, can you show the picture of the borough president and the congressman, please, so I can talk about the park? and get away from
my
any.
God.
God damn it. The City College of New York.
Nice
Only
shirt,
for
Dion.
time.
Let me
Nice
just
shirt.
say, yesterday was the
City
ribbon
College
cutting.
Uptown. City College Uptown.
Yesterday was
Lehman
the ribbon.
College. Lehman College.
Are you curious about financial literacy? Then take a look at Professor Anthony Riviccio's new program on Parrot TV. It's called Financial Focus University. This is an excellent program to learn about questions related to your own finances post-COVID, if how you can manage your money, how you can work with your tax situation. And this is an excellent and informative discussion of financial literacy. With Professor Anthony Riviccio, your financial problems will be solved at Parrot TV.